Alright everyone, this is Zero Budget Geek, and welcome back to Magic Duels. I have been on a small hiatus as I was helping out with a Kickstarter for a card game that I helped create, and there'll be more on that soon. You've probably seen some of the videos, but I'm finally getting back to Magic, and so the Eldritch Moon expansion set has released. I know I'm a little bit behind. That was what is it, about 2 weeks back that it dropped, and like I said, I was busy with the Kickstarter, so I couldn't do it. But we're going through the cards. I've just unlocked all the cards, and I'm gonna take a look at them, and I'm looking at this with fresh eyes. I haven't even done the story mode yet, so all of this is brand new to me. I have not seen any spoilers or any of that. So in this episode here, we're gonna be taking a look at the white cards, and there's only 26 of them, so let's jump in and see what we think of these cards. So the very first one that we have here is Blessed Alliance. It's one white, one colorless. It's an instant, and it has Escalade. That's a new ability, Escalade of 2. Pay this cost for each mode chosen beyond the first. So we can choose one or more. Target player gains 4 life. Untap up to 2 target creatures. Target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature. So it pays this cost for each mode chosen beyond. Okay, so I guess for the 2 costs, we get one of these abilities, which isn't bad for an instant, and then we can pay 2 more to get another ability. So I like this card. It is an uncommon. Lot of utility here. Probably won't really use the gain life too much, but the untap up to 2 target creatures is a nice combat trick, and also forcing an opponent to sacrifice an attacking creature is always good as an instant. So pretty nice card there. And I guess we'll just go in order up here. So then we have, or do we just go up and down? I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, Borrowed Grace, 1 white, 2 colorless, another instant. This one's a common. It also has Escalate of 1 white, 1 colorless, so this might be pretty good. Choose one or both. Creatures you control get +2/+0 to end the turn, or creatures you control get +0/+2 and end the turn. So essentially for 5 mana, you give all your creatures +2/+2 at instant speed, which is not terrible. That's pretty good. And getting any one of those for 3 mana isn't that bad either. So nice combat tricks that you can do with that there. We have Bruna, the Fading Light. This is 2 white and 5 colorless. It is a legendary creature, an Angel Horror, which is pretty interesting there. When you cast Bruna, the Fading Light, you may return target angel or human creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and has flying and vigilance, and it melds with Gisela, the Broken Blade, and it's a 5/7. I'm not sure how meld works, so let's see meld. There are 3 specific pairs of cards that meld, turning over to their back faces and combining into 1 creature. A melded creature can do everything another creature can. When it leaves the battlefield, it returns to being 2 separate cards. Well, that's interesting. So let's see what the other side is. So Gisela, Voice of Nightmares. It's an Eldrazi angel, and it becomes mythic. Yeah, it goes from rare to mythic. It has flying, first strike, vigilance, and lifelink, and your opponent can't cast spells with converted mana cost 3 or less, and it's a big 9/10. So really awesome. I don't melds with Gisela, the Broken Blade, and well, I guess when we see the other card, we'll figure out how to smelled. There are 3 specific when it leaves the battlefield turn. Yep. So all right, very interesting. I'm sure we'll see more of that. Collective Effort, 2 white and 1 colorless. It's a rare sorcery, and its Escalate is tap and untap creature you control, so you can destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, which is good. So like a reprisal. Destroy target enchantment, always nice, and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. So at 3 cost, any one of these is pretty good. is very good actually. And then the fact that you can escalate it for just a tapping effect is not terrible at all. So that's a pretty good card. Probably see some use coming out of that. Courageous Outrider, 1 white, 3 colors. It's a human scout, uncommon, and it's a 3/4. When Courageous Outrider enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a human card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. So 4 mana for 3/4 isn't too terrible, and it gets a friend. So nothing to scream home about, but it is interesting for a humans deck. Here we have Desperate Sentry, 1 white, 2 colorless. It's a human soldier, a 1/2. That's pretty expensive for a 1/2, but let's see. When it dies, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token into the battlefield. And then he has Delirium. Desperate Sentry gets +3/+0 as long as there are 4 more card types. 1 card, so he becomes a 4/2. I'm not too crazy about 4/2 creatures, but the fact that you get something when he dies is pretty nice. So very interesting. I could see this being, you know, going in some certain decks. Okay, we have the Extricator of Sin, 1 white, 2 colorless, a human cleric, and it's a 0/3 uncommon. When Extricator of Sin enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another permanent. If you do, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token onto the battlefield. And then if it has Delirium, at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 4 more card types among, it transforms. So let's see, you can, when it comes into play, you can sacrifice something to turn it into a 3/2, and then just have a 3/3. But when you get Delirium, he transforms into the Extricator of Flesh, an Eldrazi horror. Eldrazi you control have Vigilance, and pay 2 and tap it. Sacrifice a non-Eldrazi creature. Put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token onto the battlefield. After the end, a new beginning. So sacrifice a non-Eldrazi to get a 3/2 Eldrazi. Again, specialty card for an Eldrazi themed deck, but could be interesting. Here we have the Faith Bearer Paladin, 1 white, 4 colorless, a human knight. It's a 3/4 for 5 mana with lifelink, and that's basically it. A 3/4 with lifelink for 5 mana. I could imagine better things I'd rather do. Not the worst thing in the world, because the lifelink is decent, but I'm sure at 5 mana there's better things I'd like to be doing. So okay, Faith Unbroken, 1 white, 3 colorless, an uncommon aura. Enchant creature you control. When Faith Unbroken enters the battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls until Faith Unbroken leaves the battlefield. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2. So it lets you get rid of something. It lets you exile something, as long as you keep this in play. But it does have the added weakness of being attached to a creature. So if the creature dies, you lose this. So I don't know what I think about this. It's kind of pricey for what you're getting, but you know what? In a crucial turn, this could be really huge, where you get rid of a blocker and beef up a guy. So it's not a permanent solution, but it could be a really good swing card. Alright, here we have Gisela the Broken Blade, 2 white, 2 colors, legendary creature. It's an angel horror, and it's a 4/3 with flying, first strike, and lifelink. All of those are awesome for 4 mana. But let's see what the drawback is. At the beginning of your end step, if you both own and control Gisela the Broken Blade and a creature named Bruna the Fading Light, exile them, then meld them into Gisela Voice of Nightmare. So man, so by itself this is really good. 4 mana for 4/3 flying, first strike, and lifelink. Awesome, really awesome by itself. And then the fact that you can transform it into Gisela here, Voice of Nightmare, is pretty nice. So Gisela, Gisela is the other one, and then Bruna. That's interesting. I like the theme of that. Damn, this thing is awesome with 9/10. Holy crap. Alright, let's move on. We have the Guardian of Pilgrims, a 1 white, 1 colorless. It's a spirit cleric. When Guardian of Pilgrims enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it's a 2/2 spirit. Well, unless there's a spirit deck based around this, this is not that great. Target gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Well, no, hold on. I'm reading this wrong. When he target creature, so it doesn't matter if it's a spirit or not. I guess it's okay, but it's not great. Not that great. I'm not impressed. Ironclad Slayer. 1 white, 2 colorless. A human warrior. It's a 3/2. When Ironclad Slayer enters the battlefield, you may return target or equipment card from your graveyard to your hand. Well, that's pretty good. In the right deck, this could be pretty interesting. Not bad. You're getting a decent body for the cost, plus you're getting an effect. So not too terrible. You can use that to get back stuff like this Faith Unbroken. So putting a Faith Unbroken on that makes him a 5/4, which is not bad at all. So so by itself, not a great card, but in the right deck could be really good. We have a Loon Rider here. 1 white, 1 colorless. It's a human knight, uncommon, 1/1, with first strike and lifelink. All right, so as a 1/1 for 2 mana with those 2 abilities, that's really nice. At the beginning of the end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, transform Loon Rider. So by himself, he's not going to give you the life you need. You need to get more, but white has plenty of pump stuff. So let's see what he transforms into. It that rides as 1. Oh my god, that's ugly. He turns into a drowsy horror that has first strike, trample, and lifelink. What's the flavor text here? Horse and rider are often of one mind, but until this morning, I'd never seen them be of one body. So it turns into a 4/4 first strike, trample, lifelink. That's pretty cool. You'd have to build a deck around it, but man, that's kind of cool. I like the theme of that card. All right, Long Road Home. 1 white, 1 colorless, and uncommon instant. Exile target creature, period. Well, that's already good. At the beginning of the next end step, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Well, then you don't want to use this on your opponent's guys then. So, exile target at the beginning of the next end step. So if you do this at the end of your opponent's turn, at the beginning of the next end step, return that creature to the battlefield. So I guess do this during your opponent's turn on one of your creatures, and then during their end step, right? At the beginning of the next end step, return that card. So then your guy comes back with a +1/+1 on it. Though of course you could exile a target creature like a key blocker to win you the game. So there is some flexibility to this card. So very interesting. I'm sure we're probably gonna see that roaming around. We're not going to be looking at these gold cards here. We'll look at them in their own episode. Alright, here we have the Loon Ark Man. 1 white, 1 colorless, and aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has 1. Sacrifice a permanent. This creature gains flying until end of turn. Well, I don't like that, but just getting the +2/+2 for 2 mana is kind of nice, and we've already seen some creatures that could make good use of that. So not a great card by itself, but maybe you see it in some decks. Though there's probably better enchantments in the other sets that would be better than this, so not crazy about it. Alright, Sofla Spirit. 1 white, 1 colorless, a spirit cleric. It's a 2/1 flying, not bad for the cost. And then if you sacrifice Sofla Spirit, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. There's always more to give. So that's pretty. Oh, he's a rare. Wow. So nice creature. Good cost. You're getting great value for it, and you can basically use it to give you guys indestructible and save your guys for a turn. So make a big attack, keeping your guys alive, or if your opponent does some kind of spot removal, that will stop that. I believe it'll even stop like a mass a mass board wipe, giving them indestructible. So Sofla Spirit, pretty cool. I'll use him definitely. Alright, here we have the Sigardian Priest. 1 white, 1 colorless. It's a human cleric. It's a common, and a 1/2. And tap target non-human creature. So this guy is actually pretty interesting. Yeah, the ability to tap things down can be pretty good, and he's not too expensive. So very interesting. I'll definitely see him in a humans deck. I'm starting to see a lot of clerics, so maybe we'll start seeing some cleric decks. Alright, Spectral Reserves, 1 white, 3 colorless. It's a common sorcery. Put 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. You gain 2 life. It's not terrible. Its value would go up if you put it in some kind of spirit deck. Otherwise, it's not super great. Alright. And steadfast Cathar, 1 white, 1 colorless, a human soldier, 2/1 common. When he attacks, it gains +2 defense until end of turn. So on attack, he becomes a 2/3. So not bad. It's very good in an aggressive deck, not good as a defender. But at that cost, he usually will be good for trading certain things. So not a terrible card, kind of nice. I like it. All right, Subjugator Angel, 2 white, 4 colorless. 4/3 uncommon flying. When Subjugator Angel enters the battlefield, tap all creatures your opponents control. So yeah, you play this guy and come in with a big attack afterwards. So very high cost though, but kind of a pretty neat effect where it's tapping everything. So if you could give this flash, that'd be even better. All right. And last we have Talia, the Heretic Cathar, 1 white, 2 colorless, a legendary creature, rare, 3/2 with first strike, 3/2 first strike for 3 mana, not bad at all. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponent control enter the battlefield tapped. Now that is super. Well, yeah, the non-basic lands. Yeah, this is really good. This is really, because I was gonna say the creatures coming into play tapped is not that big of a deal because hey, they can't attack, but it means they can't block when they first come into play. So really nice. I can see why it's a legendary creature that can really mess your opponent. I can see this in pretty much in aggressive decks. A human's aggressive deck is probably gonna be very tough to beat nowadays. Alright, we'll take a look at these gold cards when we get to, reviewing gold cards. But anyway, guys, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Be sure to stay tuned. There's going to be more episodes as we go through all the colors. Next, we'll be going through blue. So, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.